We've been taught to believe in permanence, that who we are is more or less a sum total of our past decisions, circumstances, personality traits, traumas, and triumphs. That our identity is like a sculpture carved over time, hard to change, already defined and bound by history. But what if this entire premise is not just inaccurate, but deeply misleading? What if the self is not a statue, but a waveform, not a fixed shape, but a vibrating possibility? You are not a thing, you are a process, a happening, a frequency in motion. The idea of a static self, the belief that you are one singular, unchangeable version of yourself, is one of the most insidious illusions we inherit. From school reports that label us as average to life experiences that tell us who we are supposed to be, we get coded into a linear script. But reality, when seen through the quantum lens, isn't linear. It's multidimensional. In the quantum realm, particles exist in a state of potential until observed. Only then do they collapse into a specific state. In other words, nothing is fixed until you choose to make it so. Identity functions similarly. Who you are is not a fossilized truth. It is a dynamic set of probabilities, constantly influenced by your attention, emotion, and belief. If you've been walking through life feeling stuck, uninspired, or like a character in a story you didn't consciously write, you may simply be observing the same version of yourself over and over again. But here's the kicker. You can stop. You can shift. You can collapse a different version of you into existence. So let's shatter this old lens that tells you you are what happened to you. No, you are what you choose to align with, what you energetically authorize, what you expect from life and from yourself. Think of your identity like a radio. Right now, you're tuned to a particular station, let's say station self-concept 95.5. You hear the same stories playing. I'm not good enough. People like me don't get what they want. It's too late to change. These thoughts feel real because you've tuned in so long, the frequency is familiar. But that doesn't mean it's the only one broadcasting. There are thousands of other stations, other versions of you, sending out signals right now. The version of you who wakes up joyful, the version of you who trusts deeply, the one who lives in purpose, who loves without fear, who moves in abundance. They're all out there, waiting to be tuned into. Here's the miracle hiding in plain sight. The real you is not one version. The real you is the field of all possible versions. You are the probability space itself, and you get to choose which aspect of that infinite self you step into. Where in your life are you still telling an outdated story about who you are? Who told you were that person? And did you ever truly agree? We aren't meant to fossilize, we're meant to evolve. But evolution isn't just a slow biological drift, it's a quantum leap of awareness. When you realize that your identity is flexible, alive, and responsive, you stop trying to fix yourself and start allowing yourself to change. You stop trying to be better according to someone else's map, and instead start shifting into the self you've always felt whispering inside you. This realization isn't just inspiring, it's liberating. You don't have to keep auditioning for your own life. You are allowed to step on stage now, as you are, and rewrite the script. So let's begin there, by dropping the idea that your past defines your future, by questioning the beliefs you inherited, by looking in the mirror and asking, what version of me am I committed to living today? Not the one you settled for, the one you were born to remember. Everything is energy. This may sound poetic, but it's also profoundly literal. Beneath the skin, beyond the stories, deeper than emotion, what you truly are is vibration. Atoms, which make up everything in the physical universe, including your body, thoughts, and feelings, are 99.999999% empty space. What fills that space? Energy. Frequency. Movement. Everything is moving. Everything is vibrating. You are not just experiencing energy, you are emitting it, and this changes everything. In the world of quantum physics, the energy you emit via your emotional state, your beliefs, your inner dialogue, interacts with the sea of potential realities that surround you. This sea is often referred to as the quantum field, a field of infinite possibilities where every potential version of your life exists in suspended animation, waiting for you to collapse one into form. The mechanism of that collapse? Alignment. Here's a metaphor that makes it easier to grasp. Think of the quantum field like an infinite shopping mall filled with every version of your reality. Each store holds a different life timeline, one where you're fulfilled, another where you're anxious, one where your relationships feel divine, another where they drain you. You don't get access to a timeline because you deserve it in some moral sense. You get access because your frequency matches the store's frequency. It's not about effort, it's about resonance. You walk into the store that you are vibrating at. We've been taught to focus on behavior and effort as the sole drivers of change. Work harder, hustle more, think positive. But quantum alignment isn't about force, it's about coherence. Your outer world is a reflection of the vibrational signal you are consistently sending out, whether consciously or not. That signal is built from your dominant thoughts, feelings, expectations, and unconscious beliefs. That's why you can say affirmations every morning, but if deep down you still believe you're unworthy, the signal doesn't match. And the quantum field responds to the signal, not the surface performance. Energy doesn't lie. Take a moment now and ask yourself, what emotional state am I rehearsing daily? Is the energy I live in aligned with the life I say I want? Most of us walk around rehearsing fear, disappointment, or lack, then wondering why our reality seems to reflect back hardship. The field isn't punishing you, it's just precise. It's echoing your vibration like a perfect mirror. And that's not bad news. That's power. Because if your energy is the creative agent, then the moment you shift your emotional signature, you begin aligning with a different timeline. You don't manifest by begging for better. You manifest by becoming the version of yourself who naturally lives in that better. You change your state, and the field responds. Think of it like tuning an instrument. You are the guitar, and your beliefs are the strings. Are you tuned to the frequency of self-trust, love, curiosity, or to the frequency of fear, resentment, doubt? Whichever frequency you play most often becomes the song of your life, and it's heard by everything around you. This is why some people walk into a room and it feels like light follows them. They're not performing positivity, they're radiating coherence. They've learned that peace is not found through control. It's tuned from within. Imagine waking up and choosing your frequency like you choose your clothes. Today, I wear calm. Today, I wear gratitude. Today, I wear a deep sense of being supported. Imagine how different life would feel. Not because the world has changed, but because you have, and then the world starts reflecting that back to you. We often wait for the external to change so we can feel differently inside. But in quantum reality, the internal change comes first. You shift your signal, and life responds accordingly. So the next time you feel stuck, ask not what should I do, but what am I vibrating? Because action taken from fear vibrates differently than action taken from trust. And the field always knows the difference. Let this sink in. You are an energetic being in constant dialogue with a field of infinite potential. Every thought, every emotion, every expectation is casting a vote for a version of reality. And the field, in its perfection, responds, not to your wish, but to your essence. You don't have to control the whole world. You just have to align your frequency. There is a principle in quantum physics known as the observer effect. It shows that particles behave differently when they are being observed. In other words, the act of observing something, of paying attention to it, changes its behavior. Reality literally shifts when watched. Now let that sink in for a moment. What does this mean for you? It means that your awareness is not passive. It is powerful. It is creative, and it is constantly shaping your world in ways far more intimate than we've been led to believe. Every time you place your attention on something, whether it's your bank account, your health, your relationship, or your sense of self, you are interacting with it energetically. You are collapsing a version of it into form by choosing to observe it through a certain lens. This is why two people can look at the same situation and see entirely different realities. One sees opportunity, another sees threat. One sees love, another sees abandonment. The difference isn't the event, it's the observer. You are not a victim of reality. You are the architect of how it takes shape for you. Let's bring this closer to home with something simple. Imagine you receive a message from someone you care about, but it feels vague. Your mind instantly starts spinning. Are they upset with me? Did I say something wrong? You begin reacting not to the message itself, but to your interpretation of it. Your thoughts gather momentum, and your body reacts as if the imagined conflict is real. Heart rate increases, emotions stir, your behavior shifts, and without realizing it, you've collapsed an entire emotional timeline into your present moment, one rooted in insecurity or fear, based on the meaning you assigned to that observation. Now imagine another you, a version that receives the same message and assumes neutrality, or even affection. That you calmly responds, lives in ease, and continues the day unshaken. Different life, different timeline, same external event. What changed? The observer. This is the invisible skill of aligned living, becoming conscious of the lens through which you're interpreting the world. Because your attention is not neutral, it's magnetic, and when paired with emotion, it becomes a signature that calls in matching experiences. So the question is, what are you observing over and over again with unconscious judgment? What meanings are you assigning to your life that keep creating more of the same? To become the quantum self is to reclaim the sacred power of observation, not to control everything, but to realize that how you see determines what you receive. You can apply this to anything. Let's say you want to manifest more abundance. The unconscious observer might constantly notice what's missing. I don't have enough. Things are tight. Money is hard. Every time you observe through lack, you energize and sustain that frequency. But if you shift and begin to notice through a lens of gratitude, I'm already supported, resources are finding me, my needs are met, you begin to tune to the frequency of enough. Your outer reality may still be catching up, but your signal has changed, and the quantum field always listens. The same applies to love, to health, to purpose. The more you observe your life with a sense of wholeness, the more that wholeness begins to echo outward. This doesn't mean you ignore pain or pretend things are perfect. It means you choose to be conscious of the lens you're using and recognize that your perception is not a mirror. It's a projector. Ask yourself right now, where have I been unconsciously observing my life through fear, shame, or limitation? What if I observed the same area through love, acceptance, or trust? This shift may feel subtle, but its effects are profound. Over time, your world begins to reconfigure itself around your chosen perception. Relationships soften, opportunities emerge, synchronicities appear. Not because the universe suddenly decided to bless you, but because you stopped expecting struggle and started observing through the eyes of your higher self. To observe is to choose, and to choose is to create. This is not about denial, it's about alignment. It's about becoming intentional with your awareness, about learning to direct your attention like a sacred instrument and refusing to energize realities you no longer want to live in. So the next time you face a challenge, pause and ask, what story am I telling with my attention right now? Then choose again. You are not here to passively receive life. You are here to co-create it with your mind, your emotion, your intention. Every moment is a brushstroke. Every thought, a thread. And you, beloved observer, are weaving the masterpiece. Time. We chase it, we fear it, we try to outrun it, manage it, master it. But what if the very concept we've built our lives around, linear time, is not as solid as we think? Quantum physics doesn't see time as a straight line. It sees time as fluid, as relative, as something that bends, folds, and stretches depending on the observer. And while that might sound like abstract theory, it has profound implications for your personal life and sense of destiny. We've been conditioned to see time like a railroad track. You begin at one station, your birth, and pass through a series of stops: childhood, adolescence, career, relationships, aging, death. It's all forward motion. You can't go back. You must keep moving. Regret becomes a weight. The future becomes a burden. But this perception is only one model, a human interpretation, and it's limited. In the quantum view, time is more like a landscape, a vast terrain where all points coexist simultaneously. Past, present, and future are not separate places. They are simultaneous potentials. You don't travel through time. You tune into different aspects of it, depending on your state of consciousness. This is why a smell, a song, or even a deep meditative moment can suddenly transport you to a different memory or a sense of the future. You're not hallucinating. You're tuning in. Your consciousness is the dial. So what does this mean practically? It means the future isn't waiting for you out there. It's already existing as one of many possibilities, and your job is not to chase it, but to align with it. This changes how we manifest. Instead of working toward your dreams as if they are distant, linear outcomes, you begin to embody the version of you who is already living them. That version already exists in the quantum field, and your access point, the now. Let's illustrate this with a simple metaphor. You're in a building with infinite floors. Each floor is a timeline, a version of your life playing out based on your vibration. You don't get to a higher floor by running faster or wishing harder. You shift floors by changing your frequency. And when you do, you start noticing different people, opportunities, ideas, because you're literally in a new layer of reality. The elevator isn't physical, it's energetic, and it only operates from the present moment. This is why presence is so powerful. It's not just spiritual fluff, it's physics. The more anchored you are in the now, not obsessing about the past, not anxious about the future, the more access you have to alternate timelines. You become a conscious tuner of possibility. When you live stuck in the past, replaying pain, shame, or failure, you keep tuning into the frequency of that past version. You anchor it into your current state, and life echoes it back. The same happens when you're constantly worrying about a negative future. You begin feeding energy to a timeline that may not even be real, but your attention gives it momentum. So pause and ask, where in my life am I still living inside a past that no longer serves me? What future am I rehearsing in my imagination? And is it one I truly want? The truth is, your higher timeline isn't just a better set of circumstances. It's a version of you who feels different, thinks different, lives different, and they're already vibrating within you. They're not far away. They're a breath away, a shift in belief away. Imagine this future you, the one who feels peaceful, fulfilled, connected, radiant. Close your eyes and feel into them. Not what they have, but who they are. Notice their posture, their tone, their energy. That's your compass. You don't have to figure out every step from here to there. Just start aligning with how they feel. Speak how they speak. Make decisions from their center. And watch as your external world begins to mold to this new internal identity. It's no longer about time management. It's about timeline resonance. When you begin treating the present as the launching point, not the waiting room, you take back your power. You stop delaying joy. You stop postponing transformation. And you stop acting like your dreams are far away, when in truth, they are already coded into the field, waiting for your vibration to say yes. So the question is no longer how long will it take? The question is, how aligned am I right now? Becoming your quantum self is not about achieving some mystical, unattainable state. It is about remembering who you've always been beneath the noise. It's not about chasing after your higher timeline. It's about allowing it, aligning with it, and embodying it moment by moment in your everyday life. We often think of spiritual awakening or transformation as something grand, sudden, or dramatic. But in truth, quantum alignment happens through the smallest, most intentional choices. The way you respond to your thoughts, the way you enter a room, the way you speak to yourself when no one is listening. If reality is a mirror of your dominant state of being, then the most powerful thing you can do is choose that state consciously, again and again, until it becomes your natural frequency. This isn't about being perfect or pretending everything is fine. It's about being authentic in your energy, grounded in your power, soft in your presence, and faithful to your inner compass. Let's break this down to daily life. Say you wake up in the morning and immediately feel overwhelmed. Your old self might spiral, scroll social media, complain, rush. But the quantum self pauses, breathes, asks, "What am I tuning into right now?" That moment of reflection changes everything. Maybe instead of spiraling, you light a candle. You choose stillness. You set a tone. That tiny choice shifts your frequency, and the day flows differently. You begin to realize that alignment isn't a task. It's a lifestyle, a sacred rhythm of choosing coherence over chaos, clarity over confusion, embodiment over escape. The quantum self does not wait for evidence before believing. They believe, and then the evidence comes, because they understand the equation. Frequency first, form second. They act from the truth they've already claimed, not the illusion they're trying to fix. Imagine showing up to every conversation, decision, and opportunity as the version of you who already lives your highest timeline. Not pretending, not performing, but simply being. Not needing proof, because the feeling is the proof. And when you hold that feeling long enough, the universe has no choice but to echo it back. What if you lived like your dreams were already true? This isn't wishful thinking, it's energetic congruence. When your actions, thoughts, and emotions harmonize with your desired reality, the quantum field synchronizes with you. Life starts aligning not because you're pushing, but because you're resonating. Take a look at your habits, not just physical ones, but energetic ones. Do you habitually expect disappointment? Do you rehearse scarcity in your mind? Or do you practice opening, trusting, expanding? Because manifestation is not about scripting the perfect journal entry. It's about regulating your nervous system to feel safe in receiving what you desire. It's about living in a body that is already attuned to the joy you're calling in. Ask yourself, do I truly feel safe being seen in my power? Do I feel worthy of ease, of love, of abundance? If not, what part of me still needs to be met, not judged but loved? The quantum self doesn't bypass the shadows, it integrates them. It brings presence to the pain, not as an obstacle to fix, but as an energy to hold. Because only when you accept your full self can you access your full power. This is the ultimate paradox. You align with your higher timeline not by becoming someone else, but by becoming more fully you. The version of you that no longer performs, that no longer proves, that no longer abandons themselves to fit a world that was never meant to contain them. To embody your quantum self is to walk through the world as if your energy is the cause, and your reality is the effect, because it is. This journey will not always be easy. You will forget, you will contract, you will be tempted to collapse back into the familiar. But each time you remember, each time you choose presence, alignment, truth, you reclaim more of your power, and eventually it becomes who you are. You begin to glow. People will notice, life will respond, and in the quiet spaces of your being, you'll feel it. The soft hum of coherence, the unmistakable click of alignment, the knowing that you are no longer chasing timelines, you are living them. You are more than your past, more than your fears, more than the stories you've been told. You are a living field of potential, a quantum self, capable of shifting into any reality you dare to align with. This journey isn't about hustle, it's about harmony. It's not about fixing what's broken, it's about remembering what's already whole. As you move forward, remember this: every moment is an invitation to align, to choose love over fear, presence over projection, embodiment over expectation. You don't have to wait for the perfect time. You are the time. You are the timeline. So breathe. Feel your power. Let the illusion of limitation dissolve, and ask yourself, what version of me am I ready to live today? Then step into it, fully, unapologetically, tenderly, and watch the world transform around you. If this message stirred something inside you, share it, reflect on it, revisit it when you forget. And if you'd like to keep journeying with us, comment below and let us know what timeline you're choosing to align with. Let's rise together.